So it's your turn to see what life has to offer. I'm doing readings for what we can expect from the lifespan of each sign, um, and it's your turn. So here we go. Let's see what you guys got. When we look at the sign of Virgo, um, we see an innate eye for detail. Um, we see maybe someone that loves to have nice things. Earth signs certainly do. Um, to be in a position of enjoying material wealth and status, um, especially around the home. So funny, that card comes up a lot, but there's just so much Taurus symbolism in it. You even see bulls in it, but it's just like so lavish. It's um, so rich. You know, there's a castle. Um, it's just so many things representing that sign. So it's funny that you guys draw that first. But we love the finer things. Maybe that the home is really where you can truly be yourself. You can truly indulge and relax and feel superior or good about yourself. Feel like a king. So here we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Now, when we're looking at the Eight of Pentacles, this is probably one of your guys's cards I would assume you would get, because this is the perfectionist card. You see that he's not pleased with the one he's disregarded there. It doesn't quite fit into what he wants it to turn out to be, so he's discarded it. He's continually working on, matching it, making it perfect, making it exactly what he wants. So in work, you guys can be perfectionists, whether that's in or outside the job. Maybe you're always trying to find the thing that's perfect for you. So you're always looking ahead. But this could be that you're just super meticulous, which is good and bad. Obviously, you see more when you're able to put together a puzzle. You see the details, and so you could be rewarded for that. But in some ways, it can definitely hurt you, and that it's hard for you to overlook those things when they're not necessary, when you shouldn't really be paying attention to them. So. But this definitely represents a detailed eye, and it's just that kind of discernment can kind of divert your attention sometimes from things that actually need to be done. You see the gray is that uncertainty, so maybe there's a looming storm or something, headed your way, and you're not noticing it because you're too focused on fixing something. We definitely see that with Virgo. Already 2 Pentacles for an Earth sign. Very, very telling. Now, when it's reversed, do we ever reach that perfection? Can perfection, like I was saying, be a hindrance to us? And I do think that is the case a lot of times. Oh, wow. Just got a whole bunch. Okay. So when it comes to female energy, you guys really, really win the crown for that. Virgo is like kind of like the divine, like strong Amazonian woman. We see here this is usually a Leo card, and this can represent creativity or just being having a creative mind, not necessarily that you are an artist, but that you are original and unique, and um, that at least is on display for others to see. You see a lot of actors that are Virgo, with that Gemini in the 10th house, is that they can put on the duality, or they have another persona that they can wear, and it's not as affecting to them as it would be to a native Gemini. But Virgos can do that in a work field. Um, I'm always amazed at like how little that affects them sometimes, is that they can completely be another thing or personage, and it just doesn't wear on them. It's really weird. Like, they obviously have like social anxiety and stuff, having Mercury moving so fast, standing still, all those things. But when it comes to lying or being something that they're not fully, it like weirdly doesn't seem to freak them out as much. Like, they can be really good liars. I think it's because they can see the details and what it looks like on others, and know what not to do and how not to look in order to be believable. They also have a Scorpio in their third house of communication, and I will just say that is straight up manipulation. So sorry, but some stereotypes are true in the zodiac community. Um, so justice, ooh. Okay, so we got justice reversed. So justice reversed is really about, um, this is a karma card. And when we see this reversed, maybe we feel like we are treated unjustly. Maybe we feel like we get taken advantage of others, and the karma doesn't come in when it should. Or maybe you always wonder, like, God, why do things always happen to me or something, and then those people get away with stuff all the time. Maybe that's kind of a mindset of a typical Virgo, and that is not a great one to be in, because that'll be to your detriment. Because as a mutable sign, positivity is essential for your guys' survival. That's how you affect change, and that's how you kind of keep moving about, is by staying positive, moving forward, changing, improving, fixing, all those things. And so when you take on a pessimistic outlook, that can really hold you back from your true power. And so I think that's, maybe a perception as opposed to like how things actually are. Maybe you feel like things just aren't always fair. And in another way, this could mean that you are in a position of power, or that you make decisions, and you maybe let your ego make those decisions, or get in the way of what the truth of the matter is. So, Virgo are earth signs, and earth signs are a little more calculating, and a little more discerning, and a little more advantageous, I will say, because they need to achieve success. So I think they're a little less concerned with doing the moral thing, unless it, yeah. It's just the way you look at it. Either you feel like you're treated unjustly, or you are treating others unfairly. But that's upside down, so. But you almost seem like karma doesn't have your back. So what else can we get from a Virgo? Queen of Wands also has a lot of spirituality symbols in it. I mean, you see black cats are, often associated with magic and witches. And then you also see the sunflower is a sign of spirituality. And the wand obviously representing growth. So I think more so in your life, you can be a spiritual person, and I think spirituality entails looking at something bigger than yourself for growth. And I definitely see that with all the mutable signs. So for you guys, the challenge is to look beyond the details when they aren't prudent, when they're blinding you. That's the challenge. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. They don't have a lot to say until they do. Okay. So, okay, so Knight of Wands, we got this one reversed. So this guy is really, the knights are sent on a mission. They are, typically symbolize that you are seeking out a path or you're on a new path to discover something. Something that you either have to defend or bring back to your native land. And with the wand energy, that's about spiritual growth. And so maybe you feel destined to lead like a revolution, or you have very independent tendencies, and we see that with the Hermit card is going on like kind of like a walkabout or something like that. It looks grim in the Hermit card, but in here, this is more of going and finding yourself, charting some new territory. This could mean when you travel, you really feel elegant, and travel is a luxury for you guys. You see how well he's dressed, and he's going on to different lands, but it is reversed, so it's almost like are we open to going in new directions all the time? Because with Earth energy, we definitely want to stay in one place. We like repetition. Virgos love routines. And so with the reversal, how far are we willing to go? Or maybe we go somewhere, but it doesn't really change us. These are some interesting ones so far. I'm not surprised by Eight of Pentacles, or the King even, but the other ones are interesting. Okay, and so we got the Star. I'm gonna say that it's not reversed. It fell on the ground, but the Star is Aquarius. We also got Libra and Leo energy, so all of those could be big people that come up in a Virgo's life. And Aquarius is the future, the fortune teller, the water bearer. This is the future, so this came right after the Knight of Wands, and so you guys obviously do have a future orientation in that you are big planners. Now, again, the question is, how far are you willing to go? The Star brings big insights to humanity. The Star could reference, again, the star quality that many Virgo actors have. They reach star potential in celebrity culture. but there's, you know, lots of feminine energy being presented. We've got one king, one queen so far, but the Justice and Stars almost look both female. It's hard to tell with Justice. So we see a lot of feminine energy. But the Star, you know, obviously has answers that the rest of us don't. You know, that detail orientation helps them see through things easier, and they're able to perceive them. And then if we look at a Virgo chart, we can see Cancer in the 11th house, where Aquarius usually resides. So the Aquarian personality traits and tendencies and future vision is very natural of a process for a Virgo. It's something that they will be able to identify with, because Cancer is you know, what's normal to you, or what's natal, you know. So what else do we have for Virgo? Okay, yeah, this one's been coming up. Oh, interesting. Ooh. Oh, and okay, there's another one tucked in there. So before we get to experience all those, so Magician is definitely one I see with both Gemini and Virgo, but this is the master of all the elements. He came up a lot in the Virgo readings for this season. Um, and we see the abundance, we see the flowers blooming. That's definitely something you'll see with Virgos. You know, they kind of represent, in a sense, and beauty and nature, and those things are very abundant in them. The one is, you know, the starter. This is more so the starter in the sense that big things have taken hold, and you're able to kind of go in any direction, chart your own path. And I think Virgos do have that ability. It's really, you know, if the self-doubt kind of steps in, and if they are just so in the dark about which direction they should go in, that they're not able to unlock that magic, that power, that creative power. And that's another creative card with the Queen of Wands. So maybe there are some Virgos out there that do have some artistic tendencies, but again, I do think it's more of a performance tendency, as opposed to like you know, like drawing or painting or something a little more formal, you know. So this is really when you guys are not certain of something, you can run yourself rigid. You really feel like there's so many treacherous possibilities, you know, ahead of you. So when you are not clear-headed, it can be very, very troubling. You know, there's so many options, and it's just immobilizing, you know. And we do have that with Mercury energy. When we don't have a clear head, we can't see what's in front of us. We lose sight of ourselves, and we really allow a lot of doubt to enter. So it's only when we remember our strength. It's funny, you guys got both of the Leo cards. So maybe we do have some leaders among Virgos. You know, maybe we do have some passionate individuals that are a little more mitigated with the earth energy. But there we do see the maiden, and that's very Virgoan, is that gentleness. So that caring sensibility that's able to step and even pet the lion, a really feared creature in the animal kingdom, you know, a top predator. You know, through gentleness, we're able to soothe the tenacity of the lion, and the ambition, and you know, we're able to give it the love and support. And Virgos are for sure the caregivers of the zodiac. They really represent the medical field, and a lot of Virgos are in a position to take care of others, whether they put themselves there or not. They definitely feel it's a duty of theirs, and I think we see that with the Strength card. And so those charitable acts live on when we see that infinity symbol. The things that you guys have to do in this world could really make a lasting impact. We see there's not one but two infinity symbols in this reading. You got both of the cards, a Magician and Strength. In the Star, I mean, there's some really, really big potential. So that's really cool. Virgos can really achieve a lot. Coming in the middle, it's really up to you what direction you go in. When we see the, like Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, it's just kind of it's all up to you. I almost feel like. I feel like those people, more so than others, are kind of in a position where they can make their own decisions. Not that it's easier, but they have more of the gifts coming in the middle because they've taken on all the signs before them, and now they're empowered by it. Whereas later in life, all of those urges and responsibilities almost become a burden and overwhelming. When you get to like Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, it's more about ending things and not so much directing it into further use or more practical use. So that's what we kind of see. Okay, and so we got another knight here. So you guys definitely are the defenders too. So this pentacle is upright, whereas the Knight of Wands was reversed. So the fire isn't as natural of an element for you guys, but the pentacles is the earth. So it's always, going where the money is. It's, new job changes, career field changes, but there's big potential for this. And maybe you guys are always on the up and up at work. You're always trying to get up that ladder, getting promoted. But there's a sense of discovery to this with jobs. So it's whether you're creating maybe a new field or, opening a business. Maybe a lot of Virgos out there feel the urge to do that in their lifetime. But it's almost like charting a new course for yourself in that sense. So, and we got the Chariot. Now the Chariot was reversed when I saw it. So where is home to you? Is home anywhere? Because when we see it reversed, it's almost like we don't know where home is, or home just doesn't give us what we need. And so when it comes to changing our path and going, in search of a new home, maybe we just feel like we'll never find it. We'll never feel like we really fit in anywhere. And that's understandable. Getting the Star card, the Magician, these are really big, big, individual kind of cards that really make you come across as a very, very unique person, maybe eccentric, but you could definitely feel very different from everyone else. And so maybe there's a tendency that we can't relax or feel like we fit in, and so we don't know where home is. But there is Sagittarius in your 4th house, so you're always looking to go places. You're never very consistent in that field in your life. But we're unsure of the path. Okay. So Some really interesting cards I wasn't expecting with Virgo reading. So the Emperor, Aries, we have the Ram. So this I could see from, a Virgo when they don't necessarily know how to communicate in a humanistic way. They can come across as very blunt, or they don't really sugarcoat some of their observations or critiques sometimes, and so it can come across as quite abrasive, and maybe that's kind of what that is. But the Emperor is extremely action oriented. He has to accomplish a lot of things, or at least what he intends to, and maybe that's more so the Virgo aesthetic is we have to check some things off of our list at the end of each day. That's very important. Um, and then we have to be sure that our lists or the demands that we put on ourselves aren't foolish. That we're doing things that are possible. You can't walk into thin air and expect to keep walking. It doesn't happen that way. So if we have impossible dreams, that could definitely be what's presented here. There's a dog. We've also seen two cats. Like I'm not surprised to see a lot of animals in the Virgo reading, being that they represent like pets and smaller animals and things. But this is the innocence we see with the white flower. This is that youth. So they come across as almost like innocent in a mind. But it's interesting because they have like layers, or like that duplicity with that Mercury energy is almost like they seem like they could be completely different people from one day to the next, or from one sentence to the next. It just, you know what I mean? But this is a big journey, and this is just not knowing maybe where we're going. So we see a lot of future tendencies, a lot of planning, but maybe you guys are really unsure of what your paths are, and you're just kind of making it up as you go. Maybe that's what's happening. So, when you aren't diverting that energy, if you're not focusing on yourself, trying to find those answers, you may not always get what you need or where you intend. I mean, everything has a process to it, and so are we running away? It's hard to tell. I mean, but there's just a shit ton of potential here. I mean, that's the really cool thing. Even if the self-doubt plays in these perfectionist tendencies and this pessimism, there's a lot of potential if you stay strong, and you realize the power that you guys have. I feel like this sign, of all the ones that I've done readings for so far, could really unlock a lot of doors. So, anything else for Virgo? Okay. So, we'll end it on this one. So, King of Swords reversed. We master the mind. When we are this way, maybe we feel like we're powerless to our thoughts sometimes. They can really get a hold of us and make us a little more of a dictator, as opposed to someone that you can seek unbiased counseling. So, we run the risk of being manipulative when we realize that we are all powerful, and that we do have so much capabilities within us. So it's very important for Virgos to know that there has to be some honor, some integrity, some strength, some courage. When you're in those positions, to really do damage. You have to use those insights and that for the greater good. Otherwise, you're only going to hurt yourself. Um, yeah. So I mean, you could even feel like the mind is a bad place for you guys sometimes, and that's true. I mean, but it's also like could be your greatest weapon, and weapon in not like um, a ruling sense, but it can be that thing that really separates you or allows you to see things through that unique lens that you guys have. So hopefully this was pretty insightful. I hope none of it really overlapped with, um, the actual Virgo reading from this season. There is a new moon tonight, so we'll see kind of what that plays out to be. But that's kind of like the lifespan and some of the lessons that we can expect from just Virgos in general. So I hope that clarified some things for you guys. Um, and I'm in it with you. I am part Virgo myself, so I feel you.